a board on the plan. Hey, welcome to Rusty Bow. Got a lot on my plate this weekend, low on charcoal, and I think we're just going to keep it simple, make an arrowhead and test it out. So maybe we'll do better than last week. Last week was a little rough, right? Not in the making of the arrowhead. Making the arrowhead, that was a pretty cool arrowhead, but yeah, after I started testing it, man, it was just like a lot of just misfortune after misfortune. But hopefully today will be better. You know, it's sunny, and I don't know how long it's going to last, but yeah, we've had a lot of rain, so a good sunny day like today, get that arrowhead made, and we'll test it out right down there. So stay tuned. Yeah, so pretty much every blacksmith I've ever known has had a junk pile like this. Scrap steel that just keeps building up and building up, and I've got to go through it because there's a lot of stuff here I'll never use. I've just been saving it since I started, and you know, I used to be more organized. Now it's just a god-awful pile of junk, but there is some good steel in there mixed in, so I got to go through it. But I think what we're going to do is we're just going to use this tire iron to make a quick arrowhead. That way we can do some quick testing. So let's get going. Now the nice thing about using a tire iron is that you don't have to use tongs. Now what I'm going to do with this though is I'm going to straighten out this part, which I should have done weeks ago, but you know, I'm a lazy blacksmith. And that way, once I straighten it out, it'll be much easier to manage. You know, some of the best blacksmiths I've seen, and of which I am not one of them. I'm just a hack. But the best blacksmiths I've seen, they don't use tongs a lot. They put something on the end of a stick. You know, and then they work it around in the fire, and then you know, like tongs are great, but if you cannot have to use tongs, it's even better. But yeah, they'll put something on the end of a rod and work it, and it's a heck of a lot easier to just have, you know, make your hands your tongs when you can do that. But you know, keep the heat down on one end and the handle at the other. It's great. So that's what I'm going to do with this. That's not always the case when I make things. Actually, quite often it's not. But when you can do it, that's great. So I am going to straighten out this bend, and then I've done that, and I'll let it cool, and then I'm going to work the other end. Yeah, I know, my anvil is too low. I've heard it before. Heard it. Working on that, I've got some stumps out there that I got to dig out underneath here so I can inset them. And I'll be doing that, so if you're watching this and you say, oh man, his anvil's way too low and he's punching over it. Yeah, don't lose any sleep over it. It's not going to be that way forever. Okay, I'll let this cool. I'm going to switch around, work the other end. Alright, so first I'm gonna, I probably should let this get heated a little more. I'm gonna work the corner of the anvil. Nice. Not so much. Just so you know, when I make these arrowheads, this is where I catch up. The bigger projects take a lot more time, like the Kopesh. That's a bigger chunk out of my schedule, and I don't always have that kind of time. But arrowheads are nice because I can do one of these pretty quick, do a test, and still have time for some of the other things I'm doing, like making that building for the queen for her garden, which is taking a lot of time. That's totally a honey-do list thing. But yeah, it's getting close. Drag this out a little more. Yeah. There. I think we're just about ready here to put it on the sander. Okay, so I'm going to be sanding this pretty quick, but I just want to show one of the cool things that my son just got me. Files. Woohoo! I know it looks a lot like the arrow I did last week, huh? I like the style though, so that's probably why. Alright, I have it sanded and used one of my nice new files, and now I'm going to clay this up and get ready to quench it. The reason I'm doing this is to prevent cracks on the edge, but I've never had an arrowhead crack, but this is more or less a ham-handed way of what they do when they make blades. And it has worked for me when I've made knives and a few swords. So I think there's definitely something to it as far as preventing cracking. And each smith has their own style of doing this. Mine is very ham-handed right now. I've done better jobs, but frankly, it's an arrowhead. I'm really less worried about it. Some smiths will use like a very fine, I don't know if it's a paintbrush or something very long, and just kind of slap it. I've seen some pretty cool stuff. You know, very fine lines. I think the idea is just to put expansion differentials out there, so it doesn't just crack. You know, find the weakest place in the steel, the most stressed out place in the steel, and crack. I think what it does is it helps relieve some of the, you know, if there's any places in the steel that are stressed, that carry stresses in them still, stress places, let's call them, regions that this helps to spread the stress out just enough to prevent cracking. That's my hypothesis, but you know, better blacksmiths can weigh in on that. And frankly, I hope they do. Okay, the clay is dry, and And again, the reason why I do the clay is just so that maybe on the chance that, you know, with something this small, I don't know how much it matters. With a knife or a sword it would matter, but just on the outside chance that with my arrowheads that there's enough of the less hardened steel in the middle that it won't break. Sometimes, like last week, they'll break around the tip because I think the hardened steel goes back a ways beyond the clay. I've beefed up this tip just a little bit, so hopefully that helps it survive in case it hits something untoward, like you know, well, could there's pallets over there and posts, and if it hits one of those, I've had them sink in plenty of times, but what can happen is they can hit at an angle and snap, especially like down below the stacks. If I hit one of the stringers there, you know, I could hit a nail too, you know, but so yeah, I just want a tough point. It'll go through the galvanized roofing steel, no problem, but if it hits something hard at an angle, you know, it might snap the tip. I don't know, we'll see, but hopefully this one survives, because I like my arrowheads. This is the fun part. Clean the clay off and yeah, that's a Chinese food, Chinese soup container. Sure is. Quenching anything really. As long as it'll hold water, enough water. Alright, so we'll drag this out into the sunlight and have a better look at it. Now, as pretty as this looks, at least to me, you know, I can see the hammer and everything. I'd like to think that there's some less hard steel in the middle and very hardest at the edge and the tip. I don't know that it's not the same hardness all the way through. I'm just hoping, but we'll test it and see how it holds up. Hopefully better than last week. Okay, a quick once over of the arrow. This arrowhead mounted on a shaft bought from China and fixed up from time to time. So it's not a great arrow anymore, but it's a bamboo arrow with my new arrowhead on it. Okay, we haven't put the steel up yet out on the target. We're just gonna do a maiden voyage of this arrow and see how it flies, because it's a heavier arrow. 35 yards, just a 55-pound bow. That seems to fly pretty good. Let's go take a look at where it went. I like my nice new swanky target. Spray paint does wonders. Okay, it went low and there it is. So yeah, so now we put up the steel. We'll test the point. You're probably wondering why I didn't just paint the target on the steel, and well, maybe next time I will, but just didn't think about it till today. So here we go. Let's see how this does. Oh, low. So as I said, it's a heavier arrow, and it landed the same exact spot as last time. So I'm gonna have to put a little more arc on it, just a little bit. Okay, well, that was just a little lower left corner of the target. Let's see where that went. Well, there it is. As I said, just lower left corner. So, there we go. And let's go try to get a little higher this time. Good wind today. I don't know if it's affecting my shots or not, but I'll take any excuse I can think of. to make up for the fact that I'm not hitting that target. Ah, still too low. As low as last time, but more towards the center, so I got to get a little height on this. Wow, that was a little too much height. Let's go take a look at that. That's kind of funny. Oh, you think I put a little extra arc on that one? And that cut in cross grain. I don't know how this is gonna pull out here. Oh God, yep. There we go. I think we got it. There we go. No problem with the tip. And that's good. Now if that had hit like that at an angle and had, you know, enough momentum, might have snapped the tip. So but I was glad to see it didn't. Maybe a little less arc this time. Nope. Gotta get it up there. Yeah, it was totally a dirt shot. All cleaned up now though. God. I hit a board on the back. Let's take a look. It's right in the back here. You see it? And it's with the grain. I'm gonna try to, oh God, it's in there deep. Ah. Eee. Ah. I think it's coming. Here it comes. Oh God. Oh man, that was deep. Crazy. I'm ready to blame the wind, the arrow, and the terrible archer. Oh, tagged it. Let's go take a look. Yeah, right there, lower corner. Lower corner. And if I play my cards right, there we go. And the point is in good shape. Well, point survived, got lodged into 2 thick boards, and finally hit the steel. So, call it a win. Call it a win. Woohoo! Okay, hope you had a good week. I will see you on the other side of this one. Stay sunny. Be good.